Okay, let's talk about Rekieta just a little bit. Unfortunately, PvP and Andy Worski, they can make an 8 hour stream out of anything, I swear to God, because they just watch like the stream and they have to pause it every 30 seconds to like correct the record on the fly. Um, I I don't have that in me. I like to like watch something that's 3 hours long, take a time step out of it, and then just be like, look, this is the best part of the whole fucking video, and it sums it all up. So I'm doing that again. Rekieta put out a video. Um, as his first stream back. And this first stream has set the stage for absolute catastrophic failure. Okay? This is the one part that I want to clip. It's a 4.5 hour long stream, but I feel like this actually summarizes everything perfectly. You ready?
What's funny, what is legitimately comical about some of the criticism, there's a bunch to legitimately criticize me for. Again, I made a bunch of bad decisions. I made some really fun decisions, but I made a bunch of bad decisions and deserve some criticism on all of it.
This is where I gave up. I stopped watching the stream after he said this because I was sick of him. But this is what really caps off his new mood. And I can best summarize this as he has not learned a single fucking thing, and he takes no accountability for his actions. If he tries to indicate otherwise, he is being facetious or duplicitous because he does not. Every single time he even comes close to admitting fault, he has to put an asterisk next to it and say, and try to own the A-logs. Like, sure, I went off and did some goofy stuff, and I had a ton of fun doing it, but now there's consequences to that. Note what he's not saying. He's not saying, I fucked up. I made bad decisions that I regret, and I do not want to do them again. I don't want to make those same mistakes again. He's saying, I made some bad decisions under contemporaneous wisdom and logic, under how most people would think, but you know what? I sure did have a blast, and I learned a whole lot while doing it. And like, that's not an apology. That's not a lesson learned. And he's still smug. He's still shitting on the justice system. He's literally... And he messaged me, by the way, for something I'll explain in a second. And I told him to this in the message. Because when he messages me, what I do is I just ignore all the bullshit. And I just respond to the one thing that I actually want to address. And I drew this comparison. I remember watching a video about drug addiction. And specifically the fentanyl epidemic. And I learned that there are people that keep methadone on them at all times, so that if they see somebody dying of fentanyl, they can hit them with the methadone, which stops the processing, the metabolizing of opioids, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what happened. And then it will wake them up. It will stop an overdose. So this is like a thing that exists. And I remember talking to somebody who worked in medicine about this. I'm like, what do you think about people that carry methadone? Narcan, sorry, not methadone, Narcan. Narcan is what wakes up the sleepy fentanyl zombies. And he said that he would never carry Narcan on him, and he would never use it to save somebody's life. And I thought, that's weird. Like, I understand not wanting to, not having a lot of sympathies for drug addicts. I can understand not carrying it, but like, not, if you had it, why wouldn't you use it? And he said, when you wakes up a fentanyl zombie with Narcan, he gets angry with you immediately. He's close to dying because the opioids are murdering him. But it's the best high he's ever had in his entire life. He's in a world of bliss, sandwiched between two velvet blankets on the most comfortable down furnishings you could ever imagine, floating in the sky at a perfect 72 degrees with the sun kissing his skin. He's in the best mindset he could ever possibly have, even though he's on the verge of death. And if you hit him with the Narcan, he wakes up from that, and he's a homeless man in pain on the street, and he gets violent and angry with you. And while watching Rekieta talk about his experience with the justice system, I was reminded a lot of this conversation, and I'm thinking, like, the way he talks about how much fun he had and how he made some silly decisions, but oh my God, it was so fun. I'm like, you're a drug addict whose buzz got killed. You're not concerned about the custody of your children. You're not concerned about what damage you did to your family or your life. You're upset that someone shook you up and got you awake and on your feet again because you killed your buzz. And it's like, I'm like, you're this guy right here, he's the same exact guy that was jerking off to Anime Sucks, Cope and Sneed's Fat Dragons like a year ago. He's the same exact person. Has not changed, has not learned anything. He might be a little bit more careful moving forward, but there is 0% chance. There's not a fucking chance in hell that this guy is going to make it through 5 years of probation without up again, because in his mind he's done nothing wrong except get caught, and it's actually the system's fault that they treat people like this, because he was just having a good time in his own house. And that's why I didn't bother picking out like a bunch of timestamps. I don't want to go line by line and listen to him fucking smugly preen about how he got away with it in his mind. It's like, because I don't have to epically own him line by line, because watch, set your fucking clocks. You got 5 years on this shit. You can make your own determinations, but I give him maybe 2 or 3 years, because there's no way he's gonna, with this mindset, there's no fucking way that he's gonna make it through 5 years. So I told him, I said, I'll be vindicated again. You haven't learned shit. And what he got upset about, by the way, was this: the Minnesota Public Records person dropped information that we didn't have, which was that someone had found that April was living in Wilmer, which is near where he lives. And it had been said publicly that April was gone, the cover was over, that she had moved away and they were no longer together. She's like 15 minutes away from where he lives. So there's no way that they're not seeing each other. And because she moved out, Kayla may not know. So when he messages me asking me to delete this post and ban Minnesota Public Records for stalking as like a site violation, I think it's because he's afraid that Kayla's going to find out that he's still with her. And I said to him, he messaged me, by the way, Easter fucking Sunday. On Easter fucking Sunday, he's in Signal telling me that I have to delete this post because it's a site violation or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, are you not with your family at church? Are you not doing anything special today? He messaged me at like 1, like noon to 1, like exactly when somebody who with a family would be at church with their family on Easter Sunday. And I was dumbfounded by it. And I said something else. Not just that he reminded, I told him the Narcan story. I called it methadone, so I was wrong, but Narcan. I told him, stop cheating on your wife, because I know that's why he was upset about that. He got caught again. And he said, I've never cheated on my wife. She always consented. And it's like, in his head, even the fucking polycule shit was still like justifiable. His infidelity, in the Bible, he says that I don't think he's religious anymore, but in the Bible it says that when two people get married, their souls join. You literally you fuse souls together. And you can't like consent to being cheated on in that context. I guess you can say in the liberal progressive concept of consent, then sure, that's fine. But for him, he shouldn't be okay with that. But he still maintains that it was all perfectly above board and shit. And honestly, it's down to me. It's like, because at that point he hadn't streamed. I'm just like, there's no way that he's still like this, that he's still this smug asshole. You know what he did? This was the weirdest part. I was driving at the time, so I didn't respond promptly to his messages. But he sent me a message after I told him do I even have this? Might have been too long ago. Oh, I only sent him one message, so it was all one message. And he sent me 2 messages in reply. I'm not going to read them verbatim, but I then replied to that saying, your contempt for my good advice has already been well established, but within the next 5 years, I will be vindicated a second time. You have no credibility, and I believe nothing you say. Because he was trying to persuade me of all this other shit, like how, XYZ. And I'm like, I don't believe anything that you say, bro. You have no credibility. You lied to my face for years. I simply have zero trust that anything that you say ever is true. And he didn't reply to this, or he did, but you know what he said? He said, you are a good person. And then he deleted this message. So I remember seeing it because it was a notification that popped up on my car's dashboard. And then if I look at it now, it says this message was deleted. So I don't know what kind of manipulation tactic that is to say you're a good person and then delete it. Like, just really bizarre behavior can only come from a brain completely scrambled like fucking eggs by drugs and alcohol. Really excited to see the next fuck up from this retard. We'll see. So that's that. It's the Rekieta segment. Yeah, I think because I was kind of moralizing to him a bit, and I think he was like, "Oh, you're such a good person," like eye rolling sarcasm. But it's so silly, and then he deletes it. Like he doesn't even want that to be misinterpreted. Like I don't actually want him to think that he's a good person, or maybe he doesn't want me to think that he's salty or some shit. And it's just like I don't know what he wants. Yeah, the social dude right over my head. I'm just like a complete dummy when it comes to reading people, and it's just a total retard.